Jack Doherty's journey from a young internet star to one of the most controversial figures online has been nothing short of a roller coaster. With every reckless decision, Jack has spiraled deeper into desperation, alienating fans, peers, and even random strangers. From catastrophic car crashes to failed crypto schemes, this is the story of how Jack Doherty lost everything and why he's doubling down on the chaos instead of learning from his mistakes. Jack Doherty has built a career on chaos, making headlines with reckless stunts that seem to escalate each time. From live streaming dangerous antics to courting controversy at every turn, Jack's desperation for attention has been the backbone of his online persona. But what happens when the risks outweigh the rewards? Over the years, Jack's choices have left a trail of destruction, damaged relationships, broken trust, and a fan base that's shrinking faster than his credibility. One of the most glaring examples of Jack's recklessness came with his infamous McLaren crash. Driving a $200,000 car in heavy rain while glued to his phone's chat feed, Jack's complete disregard for safety became his downfall. The crash was as predictable as it was avoidable, yet Jack's response showed no remorse. No! Instead of helping his injured cameraman, he prioritized capturing the chaos for content. Hours later, he took to social media to shift blame, conveniently ignoring that his own actions caused the accident. For someone who prides himself on living life on the edge, Jack seemed more concerned with playing the victim than learning from his mistakes. But Jack's poor judgment isn't limited to cars. His recent dirt bike stunt takes recklessness to a new level. Choosing a busy road for tricks and skipping basic safety precautions like wearing a helmet, Jack's choices landed him, again, on the pavement. Yet even after another hospital visit, Jack refused to take responsibility, blaming the police for his latest misadventure. It's a pattern that defines his career: risky decisions, deflection of blame, and an inability to learn from failure. And as bad as these crashes were, Jack's chaotic ventures into other areas have made his downfall even more dramatic. What he did next made it clear just how desperate he's become. As if Jack Doherty's reckless stunts weren't enough, his foray into the crypto world cemented his reputation for prioritizing profit over integrity. At the height of the meme coin craze, Jack decided to jump on the bandwagon, claiming he was doing it for his fans. On a live stream, he pretended to involve his audience in choosing the next big investment. But in reality, the decision was already made, and Jack was setting up what appeared to be a pump and dump scheme. He introduced McLaren Coin.
Alright, I'm seeing everyone making a ton of money off these meme coins, and I want in. So tonight, guys, I'm going live, and I'm buying a meme coin. I already know which one I'm buying, but all I know is I'm going to be making straight cash, baby. So if you guys want to be a part of it, join my live. I'm going live at 12 a.m. Eastern time, and I'm buying a meme coin, and we're all getting rich together, guys. I'm going up 100, 200, 300x, baby. Let's.
A cryptocurrency as poorly thought out as the name suggests. Jack hyped it up, promising his followers massive returns and urging them to invest quickly. What he didn't disclose was his own financial stake, likely receiving a hefty pre-launch payout to promote the coin. The hype worked briefly, and the coin's value surged until it inevitably crashed. Viewers who had trusted Jack watched in real time as their investments disappeared.
Guys, what's your favorite meme coins right now, guys? Look, we got a bunch of meme coins right here. What are the best meme coins right now? What do y'all think I should buy? What am I gonna buy tonight?
For Jack, this was another quick cash grab. For his audience, many of whom were young and impressionable, it was a costly betrayal. To add insult to injury, Jack attempted to salvage the situation by throwing more money into the failing coin, claiming he was in it for the long haul. The stunt was short-lived, as the stream abruptly ended and left his viewers feeling duped.
But I'm excited, guys. I kind of already know what I'm about to get, I'm not gonna lie. I'm about to show you guys the coin. I'm going crazy, guys. Get your popcorn ready, baby. Get your popcorn ready. Go crazy. Get your bags ready. Just kidding. I am not telling y'all what to do. I'm just doing my own thing already. I'm here for the long run, baby. This is the coin I'm about to buy. I'm buying McLaren coin.
The fallout was swift. Fans began calling out Jack for exploiting their trust, accusing him of scamming the very community that had supported him. Instead of taking accountability, Jack doubled down on his deflection tactics, blaming market conditions rather than his blatant manipulation. But Jack's crypto misstep wasn't just a failed scheme. It was a glaring sign of his growing desperation. And it wasn't long before his attempts to reclaim relevance took another embarrassing turn. If Jack Doherty's crypto fiasco wasn't enough to tarnish his reputation, his next stunt proved just how little he had learned from past mistakes. This time, Jack traded his McLaren for something even more dangerous, an electric dirt bike. But in true Jack fashion, safety was once again an afterthought. Instead of using the bike where it belonged, off-road, he decided to perform risky stunts next to a busy road. No helmet, no protective gear, just Jack and his camera chasing clout at any cost. The result was as predictable as it was painful. Jack lost control mid-stunt and face planted into the pavement. The crash left him with a deep cut above his eye and a totaled bike. For most people, this would be a sobering moment, but for Jack, it was just more content. Barely fazed, he immediately turned to live stream the aftermath from the hospital, framing his injuries as another badge of honor in his chaotic career. Instead of reflecting on how his reckless behavior put himself and others in danger, he doubled down, blaming the police for forcing him off the road in the first place. What really stood out was Jack's reasoning. He argued that his electric dirt bike was harmless, claiming that moving his stunts to the sidewalk was a safe compromise. This logic unraveled the moment he attempted a jump, flipped the bike, and ended up sprawled on the pavement. Despite the clear evidence of his recklessness, Jack refused to take responsibility, choosing instead to rant about how the cops were the real problem. But Jack's brush with disaster didn't just highlight his carelessness, it also hinted at how far he was willing to go for fleeting attention. And this wouldn't be the only time his desperation drove him to dangerous extremes. Jack Doherty's reckless behavior wasn't confined to roads and sidewalks. It followed him onto the open sea. During what should have been a peaceful cruise vacation, Jack managed to cause enough chaos to get himself kicked off the ship. It all started with his usual antics, disrupting fellow passengers and turning every moment into a spectacle for his audience. Jack seemed to thrive on the discomfort he caused, filming himself as he pushed the boundaries and drew attention to his over-the-top behavior. The final straw came when his actions escalated from mildly annoying to outright disruptive. Ship staff, no strangers to unruly passengers, had seen enough. Jack was escorted off the cruise to a chorus of cheers from passengers who had clearly grown tired of his antics.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Vinod, I'm security.
My name is Ivan, security officer.
Oh, hi.
We are wearing body camera to record our discussion.
Oh, nice.
How are you guys?
How are you?
Everything fine?
Yeah, everything's fine.
We'd like just to ask you.
For most people, public humiliation of this level would be a wake-up call, but Jack, as always, shrugged it off. Instead of reflecting on his behavior, he took to social media to brag about chartering a private jet back home. His dismissive attitude only added fuel to the fire, as it became clear that Jack viewed his removal not as a consequence of his actions, but as just another opportunity to flex his wealth.
All right, guys, so it's day 3 of the cruise, and what are we about to do, McKinley?
About to leave the cruise because we have to.
Yeah, the only reason we were here was because Julian and Michelle invited us on the cruise because it was Julian's birthday, and that's why we got on the cruise ship. And Julian and Michelle got kicked off of the cruise ship this morning, so yeah.
We woke up to literally banging on the door, and then Julian said that apparently guest services or whatever banging on his door.
Yeah,
so
there was like
done.
5-10 like people that worked here with body cams outside of the room this morning, like getting them out of the room, and like they were just coming in and out of the room, like talking to us. Like we were just trying to figure out what to do. It was insane. There was so much going on this morning that we had to deal with, but yeah, I mean, now we're about to head off the cruise ship because our friends already got kicked off.
Please don't record this.
You're not allowed to record me.
What are you gonna do? Kick me off? Ah, gotcha.
The cruise ship debacle wasn't just another example of Jack's refusal to take responsibility. It was another reminder of his increasing desperation to stay relevant. What once seemed like boundary-pushing entertainment had turned into a string of alienating behaviors that left even his most loyal fans questioning their support. But if you thought public humiliation on a cruise was bad, Jack's next move showed just how far he was willing to go to maintain his fading spotlight, and it involved dragging others into his schemes. Jack Doherty's spiral into chaos reached new depths when he attempted to capitalize on the crypto craze. In what he promoted as a life-changing opportunity for his audience, Jack launched into a live stream hyping up a new meme coin he claimed would make everyone rich. His excitement seemed genuine at first, but it didn't take long for the cracks to show. Jack pretended to involve his audience by asking for their input on which coin to buy, but it quickly became clear that the decision had already been made. He invested a significant sum into a coin dubiously named McLaren McLaren coin, likely earning a pre-launch payout as part of the scheme. What followed was a textbook example of a pump and dump scam. Jack's promotion drove an initial surge in the coin's value, but within minutes, viewers watched in disbelief as its price tanked. Many of Jack's fans, hoping to emulate his supposed investment genius, had jumped in only to be left with empty wallets. Meanwhile, Jack doubled down, claiming he was in it for the long run as he added more money to the crashing coin, though this commitment barely lasted 15 minutes before his stream abruptly ended. The fallout was brutal. Fans accused Jack of taking advantage of their trust, and his reputation as a creator took another massive hit. Even longtime followers started to distance themselves, realizing Jack's financial schemes weren't just careless, they were actively exploiting his young and impressionable audience. And while the crypto disaster burned what little trust remained between Jack and his fans, his next attempt at grabbing attention proved that he was willing to alienate even his fellow creators in a desperate bid to stay relevant. As Jack Doherty's reputation crumbled, he tried to maintain relevance by latching onto other creators, an act that only made things worse. His attempts to build bridges often felt more like desperate cries for attention. One particularly awkward moment came when Jack decided to send a massive $1,500 worth of gifted subscriptions to Kai Cenat during one of Kai's streams. Jack clearly hoped this grand gesture would earn him a shout out, or at the very least, some form of acknowledgement from one of the biggest names in streaming. But Kai's response wasn't the admiration Jack had hoped for. Instead, Kai dismissed the gesture, labeling Jack's actions as bad vibes and distancing himself entirely. The rejection was swift and public, leaving Jack humiliated in front of Kai's massive audience.
Oh my god! Doherty Jack with the motherfucking 100 gifted.
Nigga, is that Jack Doherty? Wait, is that him for real?
Wait, hold on. Jack Doherty, if that's you, get another 100.
I'm not the method. Are you kidding me?
Jack Doherty, that's you, Jack, another 100.
Nah, it's not him. It's you almost had us. Jack, you almost had us, though.
They're saying to do it, so fuck it. I'm gifting Kai another 100 subs.
Whoa.
Is that Doherty, Jack?
If he asks for another 100, I'm gonna.
If you want to pull up to the stream,
Get another 100.
Nah, I'm not the method, dog. He's finessing 2 bands out of me after that. Should I do it?
Jack's desperation didn't stop there, though. Other prominent creators like Nick A30 and FaZe Banks chimed in, with Banks taking the opportunity to completely roast Jack.
Whoa, streamer, whoa. It's easily Jack Doherty. It's gotta be Jack Doherty.
Banks openly mocked Jack's reputation, even comparing the worth of Jack's girlfriend's career to a mere belt buckle, a dig that quickly gained traction online.
Jack's a piece of shit. Everybody knows it, obviously.
Jack's the GOAT.
Jack's the GOAT is f***ing crazy. I gotta meet that fucking kid.
I'll probably go Jack Doherty too, you know. But I mean, at the end of the day though, the picks he took after the crash was fire though. I'm gonna be honest.
Bro, what the fuck?
It worked. He flicked up on IG. Did you see him?
Listen, guys, come on
He's
stage.
a nut though.
Come on,
I'm gonna go worst streamer.
Come on stage.
Rather than rally support, Jack's attempts to associate with larger creators only highlighted how far he had fallen. His antics became a running joke among his peers, who saw him as a cautionary tale of what happens when clout chasing goes unchecked. The more Jack tried to force his way back into the spotlight, the more his reputation deteriorated, with fellow creators making it clear they wanted nothing to do with him. But Jack's series of missteps wasn't over yet. What followed next was an attempt at redemption that turned into one of the most embarrassing moments of his career. Thinking that an interview with popular YouTuber Pat God would provide him a much-needed opportunity to redeem himself, Jack Doherty walked right into a trap. Instead of a friendly discussion, the interview turned into a roasting session that completely dismantled everything Jack had been trying to salvage from his crumbling reputation. Pat God wasted no time grilling Jack about his controversial actions, starting with his repeated promotion of gambling to his young, impressionable audience.
Your primary source of income, where would you say you make the most amount of money on the internet? If you don't mind disclosing that. If you do, that's
I'm pretty sure you're digging for the OnlyFans answer. No, I'm kidding, but obviously, it's not like, so that's not known. But yeah, a decent amount of my money comes from OnlyFans management and that side of things, but also a decent chunk of it, my monthly income comes from my own stuff. I have a kick deal, I have a gambling deal, I have a YouTube channel and a bunch of other stuff. So I make enough money off just myself, but yeah, I also run a business because it helps me fund everything else I do, you know?
Jack's defense? We all do things for money. A statement so tone deaf that it left viewers cringing. Pat God wasn't letting Jack off the hook, pressing him harder on every weak justification Jack tried to offer. The more Jack spoke, the more obvious it became that he was completely out of touch with the severity of his actions.
So you said you had a gambling deal. Is that what the website?
No, I mean, I was about to work with them, but I ended up just going with a different company. Like, I literally just locked it in last week.
Awesome. So basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to get paid to stream yourself gambling, correct?
Basically.
Okay, and do you have some sort of code where like someone can sign up with your code and then you'll get a percent of that?
What are you, the feds?
I'm just wondering. I mean, do you have a code? Because I mean, there's a lot of ethical issues people have with people.
No, actually, I don't have a code yet. We haven't even figured all that out yet. But it's more of like I just rock the brand, you know. I don't even gotta gamble. I don't like gambling. I'm not really for gambling.
When Pat God called him out for promoting gambling, Jack responded with a strange, almost defeated logic. If he didn't get someone into gambling, someone else would. The deflection was so weak, it could barely hold up under scrutiny. But rather than recognizing the impact of his behavior, Jack continued to laugh nervously and deflect, unable to provide any real answers. The interview only solidified what many had already suspected. Jack was still refusing to take accountability for his actions. Despite claiming that he analyzed his mistakes, it was painfully clear that he had learned nothing. His attempt to come across as self-aware only highlighted how deeply entrenched his bad decisions had become. And it wasn't just his audience who noticed, it was fellow creators too. What came next was an even more embarrassing misstep, one that left Jack not only humiliated, but on the receiving end of widespread mockery. It's not every day that a public figure gets kicked off a cruise ship, but Jack Doherty's antics reached new lows when he found himself booted from a luxury liner. As if his constant string of reckless decisions wasn't enough, Jack's behavior on board pushed everyone around him to the breaking point. But when he was finally escorted off the ship, the reaction from fellow passengers was telling. They actually cheered. The moment Jack was kicked off, it was clear that his out-of-control reputation had spread beyond just his online audience. Instead of offering an apology or taking any responsibility for his actions, Jack's response was pure arrogance. "Hey dumbasses, I have a private jet back to Florida tomorrow," he arrogantly proclaimed, as though getting kicked off a cruise ship was a minor inconvenience. His dismissive attitude didn't stop there. Jack went on to flaunt his wealth, bragging about how he could take whatever flight he wanted, disregarding the fact that he was being publicly humiliated. His actions highlighted just how out of touch he had become with the reality of his situation. No self-awareness, no regret, just more deflection and entitlement. This moment was emblematic of Jack's larger decline. His behavior on the cruise ship wasn't just a random misstep, it was a culmination of all the mistakes and deflections that had been stacking up for months. Jack was no longer just a figure making bad decisions. He was someone whose every action seemed designed to alienate others. And yet, as always, he continued to ignore the mounting consequences of his behavior. But this wasn't the lowest point in Jack's spiral. That moment was yet to come, and it's something that will make you wonder just how far Jack is willing to go to stay relevant. Jack Doherty's journey to self-destruction took a fascinating turn when he agreed to an interview with YouTuber Pat God, believing it would be a chance for redemption. Instead, it quickly turned into a roast session, with Pat God grilling Jack on everything from his controversial business ventures to his downright questionable choices. What Jack thought would be a moment of growth quickly turned into a public execution of his credibility. Pat God wasted no time, diving into Jack's past of gambling promotions and shady deals. As Jack squirmed under the questioning, it became clear that he had no real answers, just a series of weak deflections. When Pat God asked him why he was promoting gambling to his young audience, Jack's response was nothing short of tone deaf. "We all do things for money," he blurted, attempting to justify his actions with the same tired excuse that had gotten him into trouble so many times before.
So why are you doing a gambling deal then? Because I'm
money, you know, at the end of the day, we all do things for money, but
I know, but so you say you don't like gambling, but you're willing to do it just
I
for
don't
money.
like Jack Doherty, but we're on a call with him. No, I'm kidding, but
no, it's just
yeah,
an interview. Do you feel like it may be a negative thing by any chance to promote gambling to especially, you know, a younger audience, considering the fact that it may cause them into signing up onto these gambling sites and becoming gambling addicts themselves?
I mean, as long as they use my code, I'm completely okay with it.
So you're okay with them developing a gambling addiction as long as it financially benefits yourself?
Bro, I don't think I'm gonna be starting anyone's gambling addiction. I'm not going that deep into it, bro. I'm just trying to get a bag.
But if you get
Jack's desperate attempts to laugh off the questions only made him look more pathetic, as his nervous laughter couldn't hide the reality of his situation. And when the questioning got too intense, Jack resorted to his usual tactic, changing the subject, deflecting, and dodging accountability. But Pat God wasn't having it. He pressed Jack harder, exposing just how hollow his defenses were. The turning point came when Pat God asked if Jack was proud of his actions. Jack, in typical fashion, tried to save face by claiming he learned from his mistakes, but the irony was impossible to ignore. After everything Jack had been through, it was clear that he hadn't changed one bit. Instead of redemption, this interview solidified just how deep Jack's spiral had become. And the fallout from this interview? It wasn't just bad press, it was a deeper plunge into obscurity that Jack couldn't seem to avoid. Jack Doherty's reputation had hit rock bottom, but somehow he found a way to sink even lower. After the infamous interview with Pat God, where his every attempt to justify his reckless behavior was shot down, Jack's downward spiral seemed unstoppable. The damage to his credibility was already done, but just when it looked like things couldn't get worse, Jack found a way to drag himself even further into disgrace. One of the final nails in his coffin came when he was kicked off a cruise ship. What should have been a low-key, relaxing trip turned into another spectacle, and it didn't take long for the passengers to realize who they were dealing with. When Jack was escorted off the ship, the crowd's reaction spoke volumes. They cheered as he was shown the door, and the sense of satisfaction was palpable. Even strangers could see through his facade, and they weren't having any of it. Jack's response to the humiliation, classic deflection. Instead of owning up to his actions, he dismissed the situation entirely. His arrogance reached new heights as he smugly announced that he had a private jet waiting to fly him home, and the opinions of the other passengers didn't matter. "I could not care less," he proclaimed, making it clear that nothing would ever make him take responsibility for his actions. At this point, Jack Doherty had gone from a curious internet personality to a textbook example of how not to build a career. Reckless stunts, irresponsible behavior, and a refusal to acknowledge his mistakes left him with nothing but an alienated fan base and a tarnished reputation. Jack had lost everything: his credibility, his audience, and his relevance, and yet he was still clinging to the same chaotic path. If you thought this story was wild, you won't want to miss what happens in this next video.